Welcome back to the Spotlight. I'm Nicole Pogue, your host, Navy veteran, and Executive Director here at Azura Veterans Coalition. Thanks for tuning in. Today we have a special guest that's going to help us understand why we become an independent organization, something you've heard me say in some of our past episodes. But first, I would like to state that we have a new campaign happening for the month of September. September is the National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And here at Azura Veterans Coalition, we help veterans navigate the fragmented healthcare system and get them to the resources that they need direly today. And we support each other, and one is too many. So we have some of our staff here in the audience, as well as our production crew at Death Denied Productions and Happy Jack Media. Thanks, guys, for producing the show and showing up no matter what. Wherever a veteran needs to be heard, these veteran video guys are there to help you get your message out there to Arizona. And if you need their support, you can find their information in the description box below, as well as our 22 a day campaign. If you want to support this organization and help us support veterans in need and their families and prevent them from going down that treacherous hole of hopelessness, please donate, and let's make sure that everyone is safe today. And remember that you're enough. We also are facing some challenges here as an organization. Our landlord has decided to sell the building, which after all the hard work we've done to recreate this space and redevelop and remodel with all of the support and efforts that have come through to us, it hasn't been in vain, but we have put a lot of energy and time and support in here. But it's either this or something better. So I choose to believe that there is a space out there waiting for us to occupy. And if you know of one, we are tirelessly looking for a space that's kind of similar to this, close to the light rail here, centralized in the East Valley, so that veterans from Phoenix and all over can get on the light rail and find us and get the resources that they need. So we're looking for a space. We're looking for donations. If you have any information, please don't forget that we are available here Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, or you can email us at info@azuravets.org, or give us a call any time or day, or just walk in and see what we're doing here, see what we have, so you know what we're looking for in our next space. We are also looking for work study students in the realm of graphic design and social media, marketing. Those are our key components that we're missing here. I can do a lot of things, but I don't do very well on social media. My brain is kind of exploding with the amount of census that we have in here. We have so many clients coming in. We have nearly doubled last year's clientele. So we need your help. We need a bigger space. We are continuing to evolve. We have more resources coming through the door and more help desired. So let's find a space. Let's find a new home. Help us continue our mission. Also, we have this weekend, or tonight actually, we have the East Valley Women Veterans potluck, and we're going to be talking about what we're going to be doing for the rest of the year as the women's group. We also host brunch every third Saturday at La Madelaine's in Gilbert. It's been a success. We love it there. We have our own little spot, and it's so much fun. It's a la carte. It's great. One of them's in the audience. She's smiling. It is kind of like our little forever home. We enjoy it, and that group of women has been growing as well. And if you look at our suicide prevention campaign, you can see that women veterans are 2.5 times more likely to suffer from all the elements that their male counterparts face, and that includes suicide. So let's find a space for the most camouflaged demographic to be heard and seen, so that we can support them through their struggles and find their pumpkin, because that's what we do. We have a lot of fun. And most of those women are here in our space as volunteers. We have 3 of them today, so thank you. And if you want to join, you can message us at info@eastvalleywomenveterans.org, and we're happy to welcome you to our group. So on that note, Nan, we got anything else going on? Oh, we have Music Military Medicine. It was every other Friday, and now it's happening every Friday. So if you want to strum a guitar or ukulele or sing, we're doing all that. We do have a stage here, and like I said, we have to be out by November 22nd. So time is time is a necessity right now. Yeah, it's paramount that we find a new space so we don't have a disruption or interruption in services to the veterans walking in the door. I spoke to one of our organizations, one of our one of our partner organizations, and told them what was going on, and they said that would be a real travesty to have to shut the doors even if for 3 months. So help us so that does not happen. And let's just get right back into the spotlight here. Mark Young, CEO at Azura and Mesa United Way. Thank you for coming in today to talk about why we have become an independent organization, what's going to be fruitful about that, and tell us how the Mesa Veterans Resource Center, is what we were formerly called, came to be and why you thought it necessary to build such a place.
Sure. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Mark.
How the heck are you?
I'm probably not doing as well as you because you just came out of a siesta. I'm super jealous.
We didn't really need to be telling people that I was taking a nap.
No. We kind of hail transparency here at the center, not only for the client. We can best serve you if you tell us the full upfront truth. So we got to get right to the point.
Here's the upfront truth. I was really sleepy, so I took a half-hour nap while listening to a podcast that was nowhere near as exciting as this one's going to be.
Great.
Yeah. So anyway, we started the Mesa Veterans Resource Center about 8 years ago, I think. I lose track of time, but
the monument in the back, it was erected in 2018. Class of 2018 is who. Yeah.
So yeah, 7 years. That's about right. We had been in place a year when they put that up. So, and we'd actually started a year before that. We had received a grant from Boeing, a $50,000 grant to, the idea at that point was to help veterans find work. So we were working out of Mesa United Way. We had several AmeriCorps folks that had been in the military, and we were working to help them find jobs in partnership with St. Joseph the Worker. That was going pretty well. There were some community members that really thought we needed an East Valley Veterans Center, so in partnership with them, we opened the doors here, and there have been a lot of really great things happen in this space, and it hasn't been easy. So you are our 7th director in 8 years, and there was twice before you came on board that we thought about just stopping because it was so difficult to keep leadership in place. You brought to this place vision and a sense of urgency and great compassion, empathy for people, things that we were missing, and you deserve a lot of praise for that. What you've done with the space is truly remarkable. And I think you really have found the people. So it's hard, you know, our idea has always been, we don't want to start something that's repeating what a whole bunch of other people are doing, right? And there are a lot of veterans organizations in the Valley. And I'm not sure we had really honed in on who we were supposed to be meeting the needs of. And you've done a tremendous job with that. So congratulations to you.
Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome. So, couple of things. So, Mesa United Way, as well as many nonprofits, they're struggling. Philanthropy's tough right now for sure, and we've always kind of been in the business of starting a nonprofit and then launching it. And you guys, we believed were the next group to do that. So I think we started talking about that, about 16 months ago, I think, at least the initial conversations. And part of it was that because you were associated with United Way, with Mesa United Way, there was this assumption that Mesa United Way was paying all the bills, right? But Mesa United Way lives on donors. So if donors aren't giving to a project, there aren't dollars to give to the project. So often we talk about the Vet Center and they go, well, Mesa United Way's paying for that. It's like, no, Mesa United, we put $1 million in this over the course of 7 years, right? And so it felt like in many ways, the association with Mesa United Way may have been limiting your donors or a sense of responsibility from your donors. This is a community project. This isn't a Mesa United Way thing that we just expect, is free to use. I mean, it costs significant dollars, right? So we really need community investment if this is important to the community. And I believe it is, and I believe you found the space. So it's not like Mesa United Way is abandoning the project. I mean, we're still doing the back office. We're still taking care of those things. There will be an allocation at the end of this year back to you guys. Allocations work this way. We bring in money and we give away as much of it as is left over. And that can be a significant amount of money, but we just don't know. So we won't know that till May or so. Although I will say, as I'm running campaigns, there are people who are asking and designating money to you guys. So that's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. A little hope in the back corner there. Because as we stand right now, we are in dire straits.
Yeah, dire's probably not as strong a word as this would be a place for one of those words we've chosen not to say. It's important. It's critical, really, that if this is seen as important to the city of Mesa, to the surrounding area, to the veterans that live here, to the people who are receiving the services, from the people who love to make sure that veterans are taken care of. There's a responsibility there, and we used to get a lot of support, but it was mostly in things, right? So people would give us clothes and give us canned goods and give us stuff, which was great. That was great, but that doesn't keep the electricity on. So, what would be tremendous would be a group of committed donors that would make a monthly investment that would just recur, so that you would know that there was a baseline of dollars to work on. And I'm not afraid to talk about this. Pretty much every program we run slim. So this program functions on less than $200,000 a year, right? And I know in your vision you want to grow that, and that's great, but right now it's $200,000 a year, right? So that's doable if it's important to people. So what we're asking folks is, we've created this, you've done a great job of giving it vision and purpose and direction, and now it's time, if it's important to the community, for the community to step up and support it.
Well, what's the best way to unveil that to all these folks out there?
Well, I think this is part of it. I think people understand. I think there's a real misunderstanding about what United Way is and how that all works. And we don't have time for 3 hours of conversation about that, but it's important to know that Mesa United Way is not sitting on a big pile of money that's endless. There has to be support. And if the support comes better to you without us being the middleman, then that's great. But people need to understand that you're at a point where if the community doesn't decide that they're going to support this mission, then there's no mission, right? It doesn't mean that, well, no, that's just it. That's just the truth. So you need space, you need dollars, and you need, additional bodies to help. And I don't know that we've talked enough about, how great our benefits counselors are, how much work you guys do with folks that are teetering right on the edge of being unalive. And it's critical. That's always been important. When we first opened, one of our first donors was the Bradley family, and their son had served and was continuing to serve, but was struggling with PTSD, and by all accounts, committed suicide by cop. And we know that happens. We know that folks that have served our country in a completely, giving of themselves to that, kind of get forgotten when they get back home. So how do we take care of folks? And one of the ways folks can do that is by giving a few bucks.
Yes. This job, this role, this mission, it's my why. It's what keeps me from going down the same road. That being in this position and then knowing that United Way was like, look, we're going to have to close the doors on this. And I was like, you cannot get rid of this. I will do it. I will do it. Let me do it. And because I knew the need, and I've been there in those shoes of those veterans who have faced that ultimate decision because it got so hopeless and so hard. And it was saving me. I was new here and didn't have anywhere to go, and I found this place, and I needed a women's group. I created the women's group, and I need them. And like you said, there was a call. People wanted this place, just like the women's group. When I stood up and I said I want to start this thing, they're like, we wanted that. We want this too. So, if the community wants this, I need to get out there and find those people. Like, why do you want this to be here? If you truly want this, please help us make this sustainable, so that we're not always having to have this conversation about receiving these dollars. Is it all about success stories? I've been told so many different ways to go about funding. Like, don't talk about being a sinking ship. You need to talk about all your successes. People want to give to something they see thriving, and we have so many success stories. And knowing that we're doubling our clientele only proves that we are doing the work. We are having long-term success. People are building capacity, and we're not seeing them again because they don't need to receive services any longer. They got what they needed. They found the support. They're doing better in life. We do have recurring cases where it took us and our community partners all of our efforts to get them to a place of stability, only for them to go back down the cycle again and have to come back up and say, I need this whole level of care again. We want to stop that from happening.
But let's talk about that
People
for a
don't
minute.
want to have those big discussions.
I get it, but do you know how special it is for you guys that you work someone through to a place, they believe they're at a place of stability, they follow that path, and then it crumbles for whatever reason, self-choices, other life choices, who knows, and that they trust you enough to come back to you. That's rare, because typically there's an embarrassment factor, or there's I don't want them to know I failed. Their willingness to come back to you says volumes about who you guys are and what you do. You're the right person. I mean, you're right. We were ready to shut the place down before you said you'd take it over. Because we'd get a director, we'd go a year and grow and start to see something, and then the director would quit. We did that 6 times before you, and the person who left before you quit on Christmas and left us high and dry. So it was like, am I just banging my head against the wall for no good reason? Is this just not something that's going to work? And we were going to stop it because it was bleeding money. And you convinced me, because of who you are, that we should continue to give it a shot. And that was the right decision. I don't know, do folks know that you sleep, 20 minutes a week? that your commitment to this isn't because it's a job, it's because this is your life calling, right? And so if there's anyone that people ought to be willing to, here's an old person saying, get out the checkbook and write a few dollars. It's your vision and your mission for this place. It's the right time, and you're the right person. I absolutely believe that. But none of the things that we do or the things that we've launched would ever work without community involvement, whether that's individual donors or corporate donors or grantors, any of those things. It takes a combination of all of it. But we need people. And if it's not a thing that's important to people, it doesn't really matter how important we might see it. But if it's not important to the community, then, it can't happen.
I know it's important to the community.
I believe that too.
They want to give, and we have to show them how to. And if they want to give to all the successes and they want to see all of those things, we can absolutely do that. I would just be remiss if we didn't tell them the tale of the dark side of it. And that's where I come from, and maybe that's thwarting my fundraising efforts. It's really hard to keep the donor engaged or to go out and hit the boots on the ground and engage the community when there are so many other veteran organizations doing a lot of good work. And where are they going to, and they're in the same area as us.
Yeah, we're all talking to the same donors.
Right, so we have to find niches within each group.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do here is build this alliance saying we have the space, we have the capacity to do more, and we want to bring awareness to these other organizations to help them become just as fruitful because there are 630,000 veterans in the state. That's a lot. So we need multiple resources to pull from, and different temperaments of individuals react differently to different organizations. And we want each veteran to find the right group of people that can hear them. Like, people will come back to us because they believe in us, they trust us, they like our process, they like our model. And some other people might not want to do the case management style. Maybe they just need a few things, they just want to go directly to these places, but they come here first because we know of those groups and we can send them there. So
and you can grease the skid a little bit, make it easier for them to get in.
Yeah, because we don't want them to have to go to all 4,000 of these other organizations. We want this to be the place we've vetted. These are the top 5 to 10 groups that are doing the most impact. And they're great people and they have the same kind of protocol. We have to hold that transparency piece up really high and know that we're not going to just give you a handout because we're just going to enable you to stay stuck in that cycle. We have to give you some accountability here. You know, we have to have the veteran own their part and we have to own our part. Together we can create that long-lasting chain, not just building the hope, but the sustainability so that the family can start trusting the veteran again and vice versa, so they can get back into the community, so they can trust themselves and know that they can do the hard thing and that they're not ultimately alone. You're not alone. You can do this with us, with the other groups. And the vision that I have here, you know, like I've said many times, comes out of my own struggles and triumphs. And I know for me, it took a lot of, you know, elders to be like...
Elders?
You know, I guess my dad...
Were you accidentally pointing to me when you said...
Just, no, because you were referencing to it. You're like, the checkbook and everything.
Yeah.
So people have said, you know, with the knife hand kind of approach, things that I can't see outside of myself. So that perspective change. Somebody needs to tell me where... I'm like, I keep hitting my head against this wall. What am I doing wrong? It's not for a lack of trying. It's just that I can only think with the same thought that got me here.
But Nicole, there's something refreshing about being honest. I mean, look, there's not very many nonprofits that I know that aren't struggling, right?
Right.
So you can slap a happy face on it and tell some heart-rending stories and maybe manipulate people into giving you a few dollars. But quite honestly, I think people are pretty exhausted by all of that. It's like we keep hearing these stories about, you know, how we're putting an end to homelessness, but the homeless numbers are worse than they've ever been. We're trying to put, trying to tell stories about people getting off of opioids, but the opioid addiction issue is higher than it's ever been. I think we need to be honest about it. This is hard work and it's hard to raise dollars, and many nonprofits are struggling. So if the fact that you're being transparent and honest, I would hope that that speaks to people in a way that says this is real. The other thing I want to say, and this is an old story I've told before, but I know it reflects who you are. Christmas, the year before you took over, I got a call on Christmas Day from a vet, and he had been evicted from his home. His family had come to visit him, and he had nowhere to go. And so I met him at a Motel 6 down on Country Club, and we put him in a room for a couple of weeks. Here's what he said to me. Transparent and honest, right? He said, you were the 41st person I called to get help. I called 40 other veteran nonprofits, and nobody answered the phone. It wasn't until you answered the phone, I was ready to give up. And it took us 2 weeks after that to get him connected to services that he needed, right? And so I know that's not true for you. When the phone rings, you answer it, someone on your team answers it. It's not too late at night, it's not a weekend, it's not a holiday. People need help when they need help, not when it's convenient for the people who run the nonprofits. That's what we're supposed to be about. That's what we've tried to be about with all the things we've started, and I know that's who you are. So, look, it's a painful truth, right? Nonprofits are underpaid, overstaffed, underpaid, understaffed, and struggling to fight for the same dollar. And so you have to find a way to make yourself, stick out of the crowd. I think you've done that. And people who believe in you and people who know people who should believe in you now have an opportunity to support something larger than them to help the community. And I would just beg them to do that because it matters.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. What what we could do with more funding is, I mean, I know exactly what I can do with more funding. And it is about getting the right certifications and professionals in here to help develop that model, because I know what's missing, I know what's needed, and it would increase the amount of, I guess, the restrictions that we have right now is because of the staffing issue, because the Department of Labor cut one of my major programs, which I had to get rid of my case manager because we couldn't pay him. And I myself am not getting paid. My VA work study, they come in on semester basis, so you spend all this time training them and then they have to leave, and it's unfortunate. And then our main guy, who's been here with me as long as I've been here, he's a reservist, came out of active, went straight reserve, went to college, and then his unit got deployed recently. We just had a big party for him here in the Defender's Den. And we miss you, Matthew. We'll be sending him care packages. But that's what I'm saying. We spend all this time into one person and then they leave. So to have a standing, sustainable production in here would show the veterans walking the door, show the families that we are serious, we are committed, we're not going anywhere, we believe in this mission, this cause, and ultimately what this place has offered in the past 7 years, right? When I had that community partner tell me, he's like, it would be a travesty if you had to close the doors. And I was like, how do we get that message out there to the community, saying it would be a travesty, those were his words, if this place closed. And I feel like I am not doing enough, even though I'm sleeping 20 minutes a week and feeling the burnout, this compassion fatigue, it's very real.
So luckily I don't.
You can't go out there and say all your successes and say we're struggling too, and looking for those maverick donors, your words, to really convey to them where their dollars are going to go to work, because we have the new big beautiful bill that's in place for the high net worth individuals, having to tailor the narrative around how their dollars will be separated differently now and given more of an incentive because of that.
So without getting political,
I'm not trying to get political.
I mean,
we have to be
I'm
more
going to try to not get political.
I'm learning how to be more strategic.
We do need to be more strategic, but honestly, it's kind of so thankfully, I don't know who the community leader who said it would be a travesty if this place shuts down, right? I don't know who they are, so I'm going to speak freely. Who are they talking to, right? If you're a community leader and you believe it would be a travesty for this place to be shut down, who are you having conversations with? Why is it your responsibility to have conversations with people they know? If it's a travesty, it needs to be a community movement to assure that this doesn't happen. The One Big Beautiful Bill has harmed a lot of nonprofits because they have been reliant on a lot of funding that's been cut. It's affected you, right? And so there's good and bad to that, but what it absolutely means is when those federal dollars aren't available for social services, it becomes the responsibility of the community to assure that they remain in place. Because you can't add a therapist, you can't add a social worker, you can't add a counselor. Just those three people I named right there is 3 times, their salary alone would be 3 times what your annual budget is at this point, right? So there's plenty of enthusiasm about the work. There's plenty of effort going in to help people. There are success stories after success stories about people who are being helped. Those things are all great. But without the foundation of the dollars of the donations, it can't continue. So it's a bit of a test, right? If you think it would be a travesty for this place to go away, well, now we're back to the checkbook conversation.
Yes, this group has given us.
Well, and I don't know who they are, so that's fair, right?
I know what they're saying, and they are doing the footwork to engage us with other organizations and tons of resources, and they're in here every single week helping us out.
That's great.
But he was like, I don't want to guilt you and put more on your plate already, and I was like, yes, and you are, but it's the reality of it. So it's, I think under pressure, creates that creativity, that sense of urgency. Like
Sure.
innovation happens under stress like that.
Always.
Always.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening here. We're learning how to innovate through all of the elements right now. But the ultimate travesty would to be closed and lose lives because of it.
Right.
And that's what's going to happen.
And it's going to take more than a bake sale.
It's going to take more than a bake sale, yes. So fundraising, yes, we can do those things. We're trying to build a car show Jeep Trail Run for October. This place has done it in the past. We're trying to do it differently this year. We're trying to secure a location and put out the sponsorship things. But that's fine. We'll raise some money then. But
Probably more awareness than anything else.
It is awareness. It's bringing in the community. That's
Right.
going to be the community reach point. And to do it here in Mesa and put it on the marquee up there and let everybody know that we are here, having our rebrand happening because we're no longer with Azura, even though
Right.
we're still being.
You're being supported,
we're
but
being
you are an independent organization.
Yeah, I want to let everybody know that we are still ultimately being supported by Mark and his team. And I'm so grateful for that because learning all of this on the fly over the past 20 months has just been so crazy for me. Probably the hardest thing I've done since my first deployment. It's wild. And it's helped me grow as a professional and personally and develop these relationships with my fellow veterans and know that more and more each day I know I'm like, there's my story, there's my story, there's my story. What is this person missing? And I think I am the right person for it, or people who are like me who, if they chose to sit in my seat, they absolutely can help me out here finding what the next person needs and what our barriers are, because every day I find a new barrier that we're facing that we have to traverse and overcome and redevelop and strategize and plan for the future of new things like that coming. But I think with the cushion of having our overhead taken care of and being able to pay for the people who have to engage in this on the daily, and the amount of time, energy, and mental capacity that it takes just to show up here and knowing that you're going to be walking into the unknown and be faced with stories and situations which are going to baffle you.
And break your heart.
And yes. And when I have to go home at night and know that I couldn't help that one person out, or even if I did, ultimately, like me and Nan helped out a woman the other day. We gave her everything we had, and she was so appreciative. And she's like, "Do you have any pillows?" And I was like, we have so many pillowcases, and we had everything else she needed, but we didn't have a pillow. And I was like so upset by that. And I took that home with me, and I was so hard on myself that I didn't, things like that. Like it's not just those little things. It's the overall. I want to be able to give them everything that they need because they came in with a plan and they did all the things we said and they took care of their goals and they were accountable to them. And I believe in them. And then I want to ultimately give everything I can to the people who are helping themselves. And that's what this is about, is helping that exchange, have the inner profitability, if you will.
As painful as that is, I pray it never goes away.
I understand what you're saying.
Do you?
Yeah.
Because so many times in nonprofit world, in church world, that's my background, right? In service organizations, you start these things and you start them because you have compassion and drive, empathy, right? Which I know right now is kind of a bad word, but we care about people. So what drives us to do it isn't our paycheck, it isn't anything else, it's the fact that we care. And then over time, oftentimes those entities get a building, they hire more staff, and they become pretty institutionalized. So now their biggest concern is assuring they have rent money and that their people are getting paid, and it's not the client anymore. So if someone won the lottery and dropped $50 million on you guys tomorrow, and you were able to buy your own building and put together, get all the people you want, who cares if you can't continue to have that sense of drive and care for the client every day, right?
Yes.
That sense of, we couldn't get her a pillow and I feel bad about that. It doesn't matter all the other things we gave her, I feel bad about that. Good. I mean, you shouldn't be losing sleep over it. You did what you could, but good. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Even I had this conversation with the chief of my board. Even if I had all that money, I would still feel like I wasn't doing enough, or that I couldn't ultimately fulfill all the needs anyway. Money, you can't just throw money at
You
everything
can't,
regardless.
and honestly, it doesn't matter. I mean, if it shouldn't matter. If you had $50 million in the bank that someone gave you, we still need community involvement. We still need to know the community believes this is a thing that they care about, and that they would support that, even if there was a bank load of money, which there's not. You know what I'm saying? We need this space, and you are the right person. I believe that. If I didn't believe that, we'd have closed 2 years ago. I believe it with all my heart that you've got great vision and great compassion. My biggest concern for you is that you burn out. So for the folks that are listening, they need to make sure you don't. And one of the ways they can do that is by relieving this pressure of the dollars in the bank.
Yeah, that would be personally helpful, and so I could show up here in my best self.
Right.
So it's okay to have one fire to have to contain, let alone two. So where do you send the hose, right?
Yep.
To the biggest need, which is here. So, and I know we're not trying to be all like a martyr, super sacrificial,
but you are being both those things.
It's the reality of the climate right now, and it's the responsibility of the community. If they say they support, we need to see that in action, and I want to be able to convey that responsibly to them as well. These are our needs. Here's where you can help. Here's a list of ways you can help, and you can pick and choose whatever's truest for you, which you believe would be the biggest impact and help them sleep at night on your nice pillow.
That's right.
And know that we're not just handing things out. We are holding people accountable and helping them achieve their goals and their dreams, and help them reach beyond that glass ceiling. I mean, knowing that they are capable of more than just surviving. Let's create I like to say, what is your big dream, that the biggest thing you can dream of, right? What's wrong with that? You can achieve that. What stands in the way becomes the way, correct? Let's help you push through those barriers. And it starts with just finding that security.
That's right. That's right. And so I know people poo-poo, this whole idea of, well, just giving stuff away, right, whatever. But look, people come with a lot of different things, right? And there are folks who are so distraught or struggling with issues, what they really need is a sandwich, and they don't really need 2 hours of conversation about taking a financial literacy class in order to get a sandwich. Just give them the damn sandwich, right? Because then you begin to build a rapport, because you actually care about them. You're not worried about creating a story for donors. You're worried about taking care of this person's need.
I was just talking about this last week in my office, right? I was kind of irate, and that's so funny. It is, because I'm out there doing the outreach, boots on the ground, waiting for the next thing to walk in the door, and being prepared for that, and taking care of everything else, because right now we don't have the support
staff.
So I'm just like, I don't have time to film and post and do all the things and capture these moments, because they're not moments. It's a stream. It just keeps coming in. We were so busy last week. A couple of us just missed our meal breaks and didn't have time to go for a walk or take that
20-minute nap,
20-minute siesta, or stretch, or find my breath and find my ground, and know that at the end of the day, I'm going to feel that. So I think for the sanity of the people that are helping the people in most need, that needs to be included in this conversation. And that's where the dollars go to work. And unfortunately, most of these grants are only awarded if 100% of the proceeds go to direct services. I'm like, that is great. The money is going to direct services, and there's got to be.
But there have to be gatekeepers for giving those things out.
Yeah, I understand. And I understand there are rules in place because they have been misused by others. And that's great. And I don't know. I'm learning all of this as I go. I'm reading all the books. We're going through the seminars and asking leaders how to be a part of, and stepping in front of groups and listening to how other people have navigated similar organizations and why they failed and how we can overcome.
Yeah.
And then producing this show and getting better at it every day, and learning about SEO, all the back end analytics, and those are all big things we need to harness. But our number one priority is the person walking in the door and the person calling on the phone. Everything stops. And I learned that from my dad growing up in retail. You know, whatever you're doing, you stop. And that person walks in the door, you are all in on that customer.
If it ever becomes other than that, regardless of the money in the bank, it's time to close. If it ever becomes other than client-centric, client-focused, if it ever becomes anything other than that, regardless of money, it's time to wrap it up because you're not necessary anymore, right? So
I think it's best to get the people you've served to come back as ambassadors because they've used the program and now they're doing well and now they're coming back to show others how to do it. And a lot of these other groups do that. The graduates of their programs end up becoming their employees. And I think that's amazing. That's beautiful. And that's how we've gotten at some of our great volunteers here. They've done the same thing.
And we've done that for sure. I get that. Yeah.
We're creating a newsletter right now. We're throwing up this one major success. This guy is awesome. I can't wait to celebrate him and show everybody about him. Things like that. And I want to try to bring him in here, but he's on his way, and we'll see what happens.
I know there's dozens of those stories, right?
But that's me. I came in here looking for all the services, and now I'm here.
Look at you.
Right?
I was helping another nonprofit a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, I was on Monday, the day we had the big haboob, right? And it's a group called Mobile Loaves and Fishes. So on Mondays and Thursdays, they load up this van with food and clothes, and they go to serve homeless folk, right? So we're over in Tempe, and we're handing out food and clothes, and I meet this woman, and she's in her last semester of getting her master's degree to be an RN, or whatever the practical, whatever that is, right? Spends all of her money in order to go to school, so she's sleeping on the ground in the park. At some point, she's going to be an amazing success story. Mostly for herself. I mean, she did this. But it would bother me. It would bother me so much if the people who are helping her are thinking, boy, I hope she hurries up and gets that degree so we can shoot some videos so that we can use that as a success story so we can raise more money, right? There's a weird shift that happens if that's the way you're thinking. There's also a bit of a concern, and I know this is not the way most people think, and it's probably why we struggle, but it feels weird to take advantage of somebody that you've helped for your own sake, right? So unless someone comes and said, hey, I have a story and I appreciate what you did and I want to be able to share that story, to coerce people into using their story in order to raise more funds feels pretty shitty to me.
Yeah, and it's like whatever case they choose to use without seeing all of the ones that didn't make it.
Right, and you got to know, right? Yeah. You got to know that the way all nonprofits works kind of like a big funnel. So you have a lot of people at the top who come in for a sandwich, or I need to get this form filled out, or can you help me get this? And they don't want to do level 2, which might be financial management or getting a job or dealing with your PTSD. Oh, wow, I'll go fast. So, those success stories are at the point of the funnel. Right? The people that you've taken from I don't have food to I am now able to return and serve people myself. That's great. But they're the smaller portion of the work that we do. The folks that have overcome a lifetime of struggle, it's just not that easy. There's no pull yourself up by the bootstraps crap. It takes work.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work. And developing into a new person, that character building, the humility that it takes it's all across the entire thing. And we can't expect someone who's had a lifetime of that to change their ways overnight. And we're not expecting that. We're just like, we just want you to put a little skin in the game.
That's right.
Even just getting someone to show up for a free computer class group.
That's right.
We're like,
baby steps.
To hold your seat, to have our parent, or I keep getting this wrong.
Does this number mean that we've gone over an hour?
No, it's just a little barrier or a barometer. So it's fine. As long as we're creating good content and we're talking about real issues here.
Someone else have to make that determination. You're the right person.
Look, I'm in
for
charge,
this
Mark. We
gig.
can keep talking all
All
day
right.
if we want to, right? And then
Yeah.
like the shorts will come out, and that's where we'll get all the views and what have you, and whatever it means to be out there on the air.
I want people to understand two things. While we have released you to be independent, we haven't abandoned you. And the community needs to support you.
Thank you for bringing that awareness today, and I appreciate your kind words and for giving me the opportunity to fulfill my life's mission that I didn't know was mine. I was on my way to grad school to be a trauma therapist, and this place interrupted me for all the reasons that I still do not understand. But I know that I was divinely guided here to do this work, and it's fulfilling, and it's hard, and it's purposeful, and I can't do it by myself. And I get to continually grow. And like Wanda Wright, she's getting her PhD right now, and she's like, continue to learn. Always keep learning. And I think that's humility right there. And so I know that I don't know all the things, and I was always standing in my own way. So now I'm just going to say, I don't know. Can you help me out? Because left to my own devices, I'm going to screw something up, or I'm going to be all headstrong about something. And then who am I leaving in the dust behind my own ego, right? So I'm just going to lay that all out there that I'm asking for help. I'm asking for help again and again and again. I'm asking help from my community partners, of the entire community, of the veteran landscape entirely, and the people who have given to other organizations. Why did you give to them? What did you see in them that wanted you to give your dollars there? How can we help optimize it over here? Because everyone's cause, they think, is the cause.
Sure.
But this is a national patriotic cause, and it's real numbers, it's real deaths happening, it's real families suffering, and there's a lot of uneducated people that don't know what's really happening in the veteran support community and what it really takes for these leaders out there to run their groups, to stand by outside of their full-time careers and their families to run these other organizations. I see these men and women doing that, and I aspire to be like them, and I know that they're spread just as thin as I am, and I'm trying to build something even larger. So, and it's not vain. It's because it's needed. It's necessary, and we'd be doing an injustice if we didn't support this. So please help me promote this campaign that we're starting here. Yeah. So.
Well, thank you for letting me clear that up today.
Thank you, Mark.
And
for
thank
teaching
you
me.
for being you. You're going to do great. Don't give up.
I won't. I'm going to continue to be as authentic and transparent, and hope others can breed the same mentality, because that's what it's about. It's all about mindset. It's about not giving up. It's about finding your why and giving back what was so freely given to me. And I think it is now my duty to succeed because of the people in this room whose shoulders I got to stand on to get to where I am, and walk side by side you and learn from you, and just hail all your accomplishments at the same time. Over 20 years of service, Mesa United Way has been here in this community, and now you're doing even more great work because of your broadening your landscape with Azura, and you're doing great online.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. So you have a bunch of other initiatives that you run, so we're going to also link those in the description below.
And we're looking to grow some more.
Cool.
Yeah.
Really? I'd like to hear more about that.
Yeah, some other time.
Yeah.
All right.
I'd be like, follow me on Patreon, but we don't have that yet. Anyway, if you liked what you heard today, if you have any kind of insight as to what we can do more of, or if you know of any other agencies or social media groups or marketing or anything like that, will help us get our message out there further so that we can continue our mission and broaden it with the breadth and depth that it deserves as we are moving forward, always moving forward. Please write us in the comments or email us at info@azuravets.org. And soon I will be unveiling our new, I don't want to say the name yet, but the new name of our organization and our new logo, and what we're going to be doing going forward with your dollars and with your support. And if you just want to hear about what we're doing here, just come on by and see what's going on. And please don't forget that you are not alone. If you are struggling right now, know that the Veterans Crisis Line is available to you 24/7. Please dial 988, then press option 1. Or come in here and let's talk. You deserve it. You're worthy. You are enough. And You deserve to be here. Thank you for your service and your sacrifice. God bless.